What's up, everybody? I'm Stan.
I'm Mac.
And welcome to another episode of MES Tech, the hot mess of tech shows on the internet. We're going to be talking about news. New stuffs. Yes.
Yes. So, where do you want to start?
Let's talk about something that we don't really talk about. Phones.
Yes. So...
You can lead this one off since you have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, pretty much. So, I have an iPhone, and I use my iPhone. It's a couple years old now. I really don't care, other than the fact that the new ones are way too expensive. Who wants to pay $1,000 to $1,300 for a phone?
Yeah, I still have my Samsung Galaxy S7. It's not even an S7 Plus, and that, when it was brand new, was like an $800 phone, and now to get into the latest S9 or the S10 that's coming out, it's going to be another $1,000 for a phone.
That's ridiculous.
However, what we have is there's an announcement that's going to be coming out from company OnePlus about their new 6T, so that's their mid-season refresh of their phone, and it's going to be a 6.4-inch AMOLED display, so high definition, high resolution, very bright and prominent colors. It's going to have this kind of like teardrop-shaped notch, so it's going to minimize the actual screen space taken up by that front-facing camera. And what's the other cool feature?
Ah, yes, the fingerprint scanner is under the screen, so it's not on the back, it's on the front.
So this is a feature that we've seen on other phones, and it's not a brand new thing, but the ultrasonic under-screen touch screen like thumb reader is such a super cool idea, and it allows you to have so much more real estate on the actual phone itself.
And not worry about ruining the back when you set it down.
Yeah, but we started talking about this thing based around budgets.
Yeah, because... mind if I leave this one on?
Yeah, no, go for it.
Okay, so it's not $1,000.
Yeah.
It's like $600, which is much more realistic in my mind. Even, yes, they are computers you can fit in your pocket. But we live in 2018, soon to be 2019. These things can be affordable. They don't have to be $1 million.
Absolutely. So
I don't need a rose gold plated. No, I don't need any of this. I need something to talk to and play games occasionally.
Yeah, so powered by Android, it's going to have a new user interface, but the key is that it's going to be probably somewhere between $550 and $650, which makes it very attainable for the level of performance and the high quality of build that we've come to know from OnePlus.
Yeah, it seems like an awesome option, and something that I might be upgrading to soon. Looking at the state of my screen.
Same here. Like, the cracks are starting to show on this one.
We are so bad with our phones.
Yeah.
So awful.
But one thing that we are pretty good with right now is our GPUs. So let's talk about Nvidia. Nvidia did a little bit of a stealth release.
Sneaky.
They evidently pushed out a brand new model of GTX 1060, and this is going to be a 6GB model. And what they did was they increased the RAM. They increased the quality of the RAM. So instead of GDDR5, it is now running GDDR5X.
Right. So as it sits right now on Nvidia's website, it's still looking at a throughput of 8 gigabytes a second. However, people are saying that's closer, possibly 9, 10, because the last revamp of the 1060 was 9 gigabytes a second when tested, so this should be around 10, hopefully. That's when the 1080 with the GDDR5X.
So many letters and numbers.
Actually put out for memory time, or memory speed. So
yeah,
that's what we can kind of expect.
Yeah, so we're going to have basic clock frequencies from the reference card. However, the overclockability and the ability to increase that performance is definitely part of the overhead that's going to be built into this brand new GTX 1060 6GB GDDR5X.
Extra awesome, extreme, ROG
model. Yes.
Plus.
Well, we're going to talk about the naming conventions later on a completely different topic.
Okay.
But the other thing, Mr. Intel, what is your news?
Oh, Intel. 9900Ks! Yay!
Yeah, the 9900Ks
Oh my God.
So
everybody, you've seen it everywhere. It's
Yeah.
been hyped up for so long, and now it's out, and there are benchmarks, and it is awesome. It's hot.
So we're going to temper that with a little bit of, well, it's hot. And it's not hot because necessarily the performance. The performance is great. You know, we've seen overclocks that are up to 5.1, 5.2 gigahertz. However, you're consuming at that level somewhere in the neighborhood of like 200 to 260 watts, depending on the amount of voltage necessary to get your CPU up to that level. So at that point in time, we're also seeing temperatures 60, 70, 80 degrees above ambient inside your room. So if you're running at 20 degrees C inside your actual like apartment or building, you're going to be looking at temperatures of 80, 90, 100 C. And in the official Gigabyte overclocking guidelines for their motherboard, they said to increase the thermal max to 115 degrees in order to comfortably and stably run a 5+ gigahertz overclock on their boards.
Holy
Yeah.
bleep.
So we're talking about limitations on lower level VRAM configs. So if you're talking about an X370 board with less than 11 phases as far as their power delivery, you're going to be looking at a maximum all-core overclock in the like 4.7, 4.8 range before you get serious thermal throttling out of the actual power delivery system.
They're just running so hot right now, even with the new TIM that they have. It's better, but at the same time, it's just you're running a 360 millimeter water cooled setup and you're still getting these kind of temperatures.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can slap an air cooler on it and be good to go. I mean, there are some out there, but you're not going to get 5 gigahertz overclocked with that.
Yeah, not in any kind of comfortable scenario, over long-term usage. So the 9900K, it is the big dog, and you got to let that big dog eat, and what it wants to consume is power and temperature. It just wants you to feed all that kind of stuff that you can really put at it.
So if you wanted a space heater, it doubles as
Absolutely.
that. So, like, you can come home, start your computer. It's a little chilly, especially here where we are.
15, 20 minutes later of a stress test, and it's 70 degrees in your apartment, and you're ready to rock and roll. But we can't deny the performance of the 9900Ks. There are some great videos out there. Steve from Gamers Nexus did a phenomenally in-depth video on that, 30 minutes of everything you could possibly want to know about it. Hardware Unboxed did the same thing, and a lot of other people have their opinions. But the consistent thing is that the performance, easily at the top level of basically consumer-grade CPUs.
Specifically consumer-grade chips.
Temperature, way beyond the top level of consumer-grade CPUs, and the value proposition, what you get in performance increase over, say, like a 2700X or other processors inside the Intel line, it's not necessarily the best dollar for value proposition. But when you're buying the latest and greatest from Intel, is that really your goal?
No, never. Not
Okay.
not at all.
From the horse's mouth, guys.
You pay for it, but yes, then you have the biggest and baddest.
Yeah. Well, if you want to step down from the biggest and baddest, because we've got another RTX launch that just happened, the RTX 2070 actually came out. And this is the one that a lot of people have been waiting for because it is right in that price point of the GTX 1080, 1070 Ti's, and we want to see what kind of performance we actually get out of this brand new GPU. And it's also the lowest level you'll be able to get the RTX performance capabilities out of those Tensor cores in the Turing architecture.
Can I rain on this for a second?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Okay, so one, they dropped SLI, which, a lot of games didn't support, but that's fine. Nostalgia standpoint, I was actually just watching a video and they made that exact quote. It's kind of sad to see it go. I used to have a quad SLI setup with GTX 250s,
But still.
yeah, it was awesome, and you just wind them together and it's all fun. But at the same time, they're expensive for what they are.
Yeah, they are. They're
So
really
they're
expensive.
Like, what? You can get a GTX 1080.
Well, okay. So
okay.
if we're talking about current market, then what you can get is you can get an RTX 2070, the base level configuration with the stock clocks on the reference board that is provided by Nvidia to the board partners. So EVGA, Asus, they've all got these, RTX 2070s, and they're all priced right around $500 because that is what Nvidia said we'd be able to get them for. However, if you really want the good stuff, where you want a better cooler, those kind of things, you're going to have to step up into a $550, $600, $650 level RTX 2070. And that's still not going to get you NVLink or SLI because those aren't features that are available on the new, TU102 processor or whatever they're calling this one. But it is the entry level into RTX, DLSS, and the other features that NVIDIA is saying are so worthwhile, but that aren't available to anybody for testing or to really see what kind of performance benefits you get.
When are they supposed to relaunch that demo?
So it's going to come out when the new October, now November update is the one that deleted all of everybody's stuff. So that's going to come out there, but we're also going to be seeing a 3D Mark upgrade, which is going to include ray tracing as a possible demo. So if you don't have 3D Mark, that is something that you should probably be picking up. They usually have deals on Steam, so you can get it as low as like $7.50. So, to get the full suite of 3D Mark if you want to continuously benchmark your stuff. But as far as the performance of an RTX 2070 aftermarket board partner card is somewhere in the neighborhood of a GTX 1080. And we're not talking even an overclocked GTX 1080. So you can bump up the 1080, bump up the 2070, and you're looking at a difference in performance of somewhere in the neighborhood of like 5 to 8%, depending on the resolution. And then as you get up into higher resolutions, that's where it really shines. But on your 1080 to 1440p gaming, the gap just isn't really that big. And RTX boards, they're expensive. GTX 1080s, they can be had for $400, $450, depending on which model you're looking at. And if you go into the used market, you can find them somewhere around $300 to $350, which makes it a much better value proposition. And if you buy like a 1070 Ti, which is currently somewhere in that $380 to $420 range, you can overclock that to GTX 1080-like performance and get within that RTX 2070 category for, again, $100 to $150 less than the least expensive version of the RTX 2070. Yeah, it's just not there. It is just not there for us to say, yeah, this is... Nope.
When RTX comes out, we'll be eating our words, but that's fine.
Well, I don't even know that because it could not be good.
Just comes out and everything goes back to stick figures.
Yep.
It's totally fine.
So I'm also looking at what we have for news topics. So the other news topic that we currently have, there's a rumor that Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be coming to PC in 2019. It's according to a retailer. We found it on Hard OCP. Those guys, they basically said that it came from a European site. So it's a rumor at this point in time. We're expecting Red Dead Redemption 2 to come out to PC at some point in time. It's an inevitability, but we don't really need a hard date. Usually it's going to be console exclusive for a period of time until they can actually execute on a high-level port over to PC, so that way we get a good quality. Same thing happened with GTA 5. Mm-hmm. So it's not anything that we didn't already expect. The other thing, evidently China is going to make an artificial moon. Evidently one moon isn't quite good enough for the Chinese. But according to a Chinese newspaper, they're going to be launching a satellite that should be kind of spreading artificial moonlight over an 80 to 20 kilometer radius area, so that way they can decrease the amount of power consumption for things like streetlights and allow people to be out later at night. So they're looking to ramp up their space program to the level of the United States and Russia, and this is one of their real leaps forward to try and do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I hear that, and then robot technology and AIs, and I'm thinking more and more that this is turning into some Terminator type stuff.
Oh yeah,
maybe
Skynet
the Star Wars program that was,
Skynet's about to happen. we already know Nvidia is Skynet with this whole Turing architecture and deep learning, super sampling, and artificial intelligence. They are already there. It's just a matter of whether they want to flip the switch and let them kill humans or not. But AMD's the good guy. And AMD is releasing, it's already been teased to release an RX 590, which is an upgrade to the current RX 580, which is on the upgraded Polaris architecture, dropping down from 14 nanometers to 12 nanometers, bringing us a small increase in performance, a little bit of a reduction in power, and a better efficiency overall with the package.
For more money.
Not much. Currently, you can find an RX 580 with 8 gigs of RAM for somewhere in the neighborhood of $200 to $250, depending on the aftermarket cooler solution that you want. So if the RX 590 comes out with an MSRP of somewhere in the neighborhood of $300 to $350, it would be expected, but it's probably not going to stay there very long, given the market for the RX 580 is a direct competitor against the 1060, 1066 gig, 1063 gig. And it competes there in terms of performance. So if we're talking dollar for dollar value, it wouldn't be able to survive at $300 to $350 very long against that kind of card.
Might be why Nvidia drove to re-release the 1060 again.
Well, they're also not going to be releasing an RTX 2060 because the lowest level is the RTX 2070, which is definitely not a good value. So you got to make your horse in that race a little bit better. So it makes sense why they're doing the releases, because their other products are not available and don't necessarily live up to the expectations.
This is all beginning to be quite the shit show.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a shit show, but the consumers are going to bear the brunt of this, and if you don't need the RTX and DLSS technology, which you don't because there's no games for it right now, I would suggest definitely looking at the bargain bin if you have the opportunity to pick up something like a 1080, a 1080 Ti in the used market, 1070 Ti brand new. They're going to provide you with tons of value and great performance in 1080p, 1440p, and in the 1080 and the 1080 Ti, the 4K range, and at a much better price.
Tasty, tasty 4K.
Tasty, tasty 4K. But that's all the time we've got for the news. Anything else you want to talk about, Mac?
No, beer.
Okay, well, so while Mac drinks his beer, as always, guys, if you liked the video, hit the like button. If you didn't like the video, hit the dislike button. Hit us up in the comments down below so that way we can start that conversation about everything that's going on. And we want to get your feedback so that way we can make our videos better every single time.
Yes, that's the idea. Hot mess, something like that.
Hot mess of tech shows. All right, catch you guys later.
See ya.
I've never seen a fridge so empty and so sad.
It's not
As
sad.
yours.
It's just empty.